Amazing. Woohoo! Oh, check this out. This is wicked.
Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to Dalby Forest, home to a number of exciting trails, many of which we've explored on the channel before. Earlier in the year I took the Shark Thresher for an exciting spin around the Red Trail, and more recently I explored the fantastic UCI Black Trail, which had plenty of great riding. But today I'm riding another one of the trails here. This is the Jubilee Trail, a fun 7-mile loop with 600 metres of ascent, plenty of single track, and more berms than you can shake a stick at. So let's get on the trail. From the car park, the route starts on a zigzag climb up the hill, gaining a good chunk of ascent right from the go. This is an interesting flowing trail which sits firmly in the realms of a blue-grey. It has enough to keep you entertained, but nothing that's going to cause you too much trouble. As you'd expect, the first few sections of this trail are a gentle climb up through the woods. The riding is good, there's nothing too steep or technical to contend with, and the scenery is nice. But eventually, you reach the first piece of single track descent. This section is a gentle winding route filled with berms, and I do mean filled. It also has a few small rollers etc. to help you maintain your speed. This is an active, interesting blue section and a great introduction to the kind of features you're going to find on this trail. Although not all of the sections are as pristine and smooth as this one. As a big fan of natural trails, I was pleased to see the variety of terrain that the Jubilee Trail has. Although this section flows well, it doesn't quite have enough gradient, so it isn't really as fast as you'd like. So you will have to put in a few pedal strokes between the pumps and the turns. Now, I'm riding my full suspension bike today, which is a bit overkill for this trail. A hardtail or short travel bike would be perfect for this, improving your ability to pump over the rollers and really work your speed off the berms. I can see why this trail is really popular with e-bikers too. That extra bit of boost on a section like this would increase the fun factor tenfold.
What a great section of trail. Amazing. I'm half tempted to ride back up the fire road and hit that again.
The next section of trail is also nice and flowing to start with.
Here we go.
It's a bit faster and a bit more spread out than the last one. It has these nice flowing berms up top, which eventually are replaced with a more natural feeling, faster section of single track down below.
Whoa.
With the fallen leaves, the trail cuts a cool line through the trees and it rides really well.
Whoa, tight.
I sometimes find that with blue graded trails, you never really know what you're going to get. With the different trail centres taking a few liberties with their trail gradings, a blue trail could either be really exciting or completely flat and boring. Well, I'm happy to report that this is one of the former. This is a great example of a blue graded trail.
A bit more natural.
The Jubilee has plenty of sections where you can practice your bike skills, like corners, turns, lumps and bumps, but it's pretty chilled with nothing that can really catch you out. You don't need all the best kit or the fanciest bike to ride it, it's just a fun way to spend a bit of time on your bike. So at only 11 kilometers long, this trail is the perfect warm-up. Dalby has a large red trail which can be split into smaller sections mixed with some fire roads, so this trail can be a good and relatively short option for the first trail of the day. Of course, riding a trail loop, there's as much uphill as there is downhill. But on trails like this, it's how they use the downhill that makes it worth it for the amount of effort you have to put into the uphills. This trail feels like it has that balance spot on. Of course, it's hard to fit an entire trail into a short video, so I'm just giving you the highlights and important bits as an overview. Because as you'd expect, the downhill parts are joined by some more pedally sections, but again, there's nothing too taxing. So this is another of the more natural sections that I mentioned before. I love this kind of terrain. Unlike the twisty hard-packed sections above, this has roots, ruts and rocks to play with, but it still flows pretty nicely.
These wet leaves add another element to it. Not only do they disguise the trail, I mean you can still see it of course, but it's not as defined, but also they're pretty darn slippery when they're wet. So I've got to be careful because I don't actually know the trail. All good fun.
These few sections of trail were really enjoyable. They seem to traverse the little valley. If you can peel your eyes away from the trail, the views are actually really nice and you can just cruise along enjoying the hillside. The trail generally points down at this point and it meanders along, but there are a couple of short and sharp uphills with a few rocks to make them interesting. Now, blue trails can have so many different types of features on them, and like I said before, you never really know what you're going to find on a blue trail. Some have jumps, some have berms, and some are as flat as a pancake. So it's worth doing a bit of research in advance, but generally everything will be rollable. So because you gained a lot of height straight out of the car park, there aren't any huge climbs on this trail. The first few sections of the Jubilee are a bit twisty and windy. The middle sections are a bit more natural and chilled out with long sweeping single track. And at the end, the descents turn back into twisty trails again. These top sections before the last descent tend to be relatively flat and a bit featureless, but you're still going at a fair pace. Heading into the last sections of downhill, you pick up a bit more speed. This section also has some large berms on the corners designed to help you maintain set speed, and there are some sections where you can get your bike off the ground if you're that way inclined. For a blue graded descent, this is pretty good. It weaves and winds its way down through the forest, it's great for practicing turns, and you can take it as fast or as slow as you want. You never feel out of control, and there are no surprise features. There's plenty of fun to be had on a trail like this. It's suitable for almost anyone at any skill level with any sort of bike, within the realms of safety of course, but it's an awesome way to get yourself into the outdoors. As someone who rides a whole range of trails from technical downhills to jumps to bike parks, I felt quite surprised by this blue trail. It has a few cool sections that I wasn't expecting and a nice mix of terrain types from natural to hardpack surfacing. It's a classic blue trail that fits well within its grade. Whether you're looking for a trail to practice your skills or a warm-up trail before you hit the big stuff, the Jubilee trail could be a good option. At this point, the path meets up with a bigger track and heads back down to the car park. So as I make it down the last few turns, these gates at the end mark the end of the trail. So that's it from me today. If you're in the area, Dalby Forest has plenty to offer and the trails are well worth the ride. So thanks for watching, make sure you've liked the video and subscribe to the channel for more awesome content, and I'll see you down in the comments.